So let me ask you a question. Are you the kind of person who can't say no? Are you the kind of person that puts others' needs above your own, like all the time, almost to a fault? Are you the kind of person that puts yourself last in every scenario, or you accept less in every scenario when given the choice? Well, if you answered yes to more than two or more of those questions, you may be a people pleaser. And if you're a millennial, you know a lot about people pleasing. It's estimated that over half of millennials identify as people pleasers, being that they put others' needs always above themselves. They don't draw boundaries. You know, their fear of rejection drives them to make decisions that may be detrimental at worst, and at best, just not putting their needs above anyone else's. And usually, some form of self-sabotage. I myself have been afflicted with this basically since as long as I can remember, honestly. I've always been the kind of person that felt like I needed to put others' needs first. In 37 years, I've started to realize that people pleasing is a road to nowhere. It literally is a road to nowhere. You're not helping yourself. You're not helping society that much. You're not helping any situation by always saying yes to everything. You would think that would be a good thing, but in my experience, no, it's not a good thing. Being a people pleaser is not the same as being selfless. It never has been. The situations that I found myself in, there's always been a quid pro quo. Almost always. I'll do something that I think will make others happy or will fulfill their needs, and I will almost always feel like, okay, at least in the back of my mind, I will always expect something in return. It was almost never selfless. That's what I think the difference is between a people pleaser and someone who is selfless. But I can count on one hand the number of truly selfless people I've met in my life. Most people that I've met that act like this are basically people pleasers. And even in the back of their mind, they're always expecting to get something back. For the most part, it's usually validation, I think. People want validation, or they want a raise, or they want some kind of recompense for what they perceive to be a selfless act. The worst part about it is that it's such an effective tool to build like resentments. You start thinking the worst of people simply because you're not perceiving them to be as selfless as you are being. But in reality, you're kind of engaging in the selfishness too if you're only doing it for the wrong reasons, for some kind of recompense or some kind of reward, basically. Only now do I realize how toxic it's been to be a people pleaser all these years. Such an effective tool to start thinking the worst of people and start, expecting things out of them that they're probably not even aware of. If they just have a normal relationship with you, or if they're just a stranger, they're not expecting to go out of their way. People are motivated by simple things, and you shouldn't expect so much out of them based on your own preconceived notions about yourself. I think people pleasers have a tendency to do that, and that's how you build resentments. You start thinking, well, I would do this, so why doesn't everyone else do this the same way that I do? Before you know it, you are thinking the worst of people when they act in selfish ways, or even ways that you perceive to be selfish. Breaking free from it has been definitely been a challenge. There's no doubt about that. I always said yes to everything. I never had the courage to say no to anything. If someone needed something, I was always there. And on the one hand, yeah, that's probably a good thing to be able to do that, but doing it just by habit is not the way you should approach it. You should approach it with charity or something in your heart. You shouldn't expect anything back. And I have been guilty of that before, where it's like, okay, I'm really busting my ass here, and I'm doing these things. I feel like I'm not getting the credit I deserve, and that's not the way I should approach it. That's the insidiousness of people pleasing. You think you're being such a good person, and you're putting yourself out there, and you're doing things for other people, but you're not doing them with any kind of purity. You're always expecting a little something in return. And I've definitely felt guilty of that over these past few years, for sure. And I just want to get rid of it. I want to get rid of my people-pleasing tendencies. And you gotta practice your no reflex. You gotta practice being able to reject people and being able to draw boundaries and from there, you start exercising those muscles. It gets easier every time, and it's not going to help you in the long run just to say yes to everything. I really love to hear your thoughts about this. I know a lot of millennials are afflicted by this, be it through anxiety, their upbringing, fear of rejection, the search for validation. I know that a lot of millennials do engage in this. Either knowingly or either consciously or unconsciously, they engage in this. It's gotten me nowhere. It's gotten all my people-pleasing tendencies have really gotten me nowhere in terms of career, in terms of relationships. You don't want to be a doormat. You don't, because no one respects a doormat. You might think you're being nice and people are gonna appreciate you. No, they're not going. They're not. 9 times out of 10, people are not going to appreciate you if you're a doormat and you're a yes man or a yes woman. You just don't want to engage in it. What causes people pleasing? Why do we think we get something out of it? What leads to this road? You don't just wake up one day, you're a people pleaser. What psychological and societal things lead people to people pleasing? Why is there that expectation? Why is there always some kind of expectation when you're a people pleaser, not just a selfless person? Because those two things are not alike. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. This has been so great. This channel has had its ups and downs. I haven't been as on the ball as I want to be in terms of the content. I know I say this every other video, but I really want to put more time and energy into it. It's been so enlightening to see your guys' responses and checking back for comments and how little conversations start. Like, that's why I started this channel, and it's so good to see that people are still engaging in it. So it's just interesting to see what other people's perspectives are, and I think YouTube is one of the most powerful platforms to do that on, to get other people's perspectives and go back and forth with them and converse and learn more about different ways of life. I mean, it really bridges the gap. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't. If you like this content, I'd love to hear your thoughts on people pleasing down below, and I will see you in the next one.